Word of a Fox alert, it is a pursuit. The 210 freeway, Azusa Sky Fox is over it, as is Rick Dicker. Rick?
That's exactly right. A burglary suspect here on the westbound side of the 210 freeway, right at the 605, coming out of Azusa into Irwindale. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is pursuing this suspect here. And this pursuit started out in Pomona on the 10 freeway westbound. He's driving in an SUV. We're going to zoom in on this car here in just a moment. From the 10 westbound, he transitioned to the northbound 57. We know this because of the scanner traffic we're listening to, and then made his way onto the westbound 210. Now making the transition to the southbound 605 in Irwindale. He will make his way south now down into El Monte and towards the 10 freeway. He's stayed primarily on freeways, but he did exit onto surface streets for a short time in Pomona. Unclear if there's anybody else except the one suspect in the SUV now. As we widen out and we show you that car that is being pursued here on the southbound side of the 605 freeway. We just arrived on scene here, and we're seeing a lot of sheriff's activity on the freeway on the South 605. There's a sheriff's helicopter circling overhead as well. We're going to get our bearings straight here, Steve, and you can come back to us in just a moment here, because it sounds like they may be pulling off. We're looking up ahead on the freeway. Actually, let's stay with our picture here and continue to, if we zoom in a little bit and push towards this SUV, traveling at a speed of about 90 miles an hour. I can see it outside the helicopter right now. We're trying to get a fix on our camera right now as we push in. There it is. That's the SUV that we're tracking here. 90 miles an hour through traffic. That is the suspect there, guys, right there. The burglary suspect that's being pursued by sheriff's deputies on the southbound side of the 605, now approaching the 10. How's the traffic here? It's light. Again, he's been going at speeds as high as 90 miles an hour. This is a situation that's very dangerous, obviously, to law enforcement. Unclear what kind of suspect we're dealing with. He wants to run, obviously, and that's what he's doing. And anytime a pursuit lasts this long, it becomes more of a danger to the public. Most pursuits last under a minute. This one has been going a good 15 or 20 minutes. Once again, South 605. The next freeway of choice he will have if he wants to make a transition will be the 10 freeway, which he's already spent some time on. In fact, that's where we first heard the pursuit, on the 10 freeway, passing the LA County Fairgrounds there. The SUV here, it looks like the windows are tinted. We do not know if there's anybody else inside, as I had mentioned, besides the suspect, a burglary suspect here being pursued. And how these pursuits start, the law enforcement, the agency, the lead on the investigation around an incident wants to pull over an individual like this. First, they follow him because they know that they could be dealing with a criminal here. They get some backup involved, then they light him up. And if that suspect fails to pull over, the pursuit is on. And that's exactly what happened off to the east in Pomona. There he goes, traveling in and out, swerving in and out of lanes. Light volume here on the southbound side of the 605 freeway, now approaching the 10, bordering here El Monte on the south end of the San Gabriel Valley. And he's going to have the option here to go south on the 605, stay on the 605, or make the transition to the east or westbound 10 freeway. And it looks like he will stay on the 605 freeway. Next freeway would be the 60. Looking up ahead, Steve, another mile or two. Volume is still relatively light, so he's going to have a pretty much open freeway here to make his moves in and out of traffic, trying to evade law enforcement. But he's being tracked by a number of patrol cars, LA County Sheriff's patrol cars, in addition to a helicopter overhead.
Hey, Rick, as you know, because you've done so many of these things, and we've seen so many of these things, quite often the person who's running really doesn't have a destination. It's not like they're going anywhere specifically. They're just going.
Or just trying to run. And a lot of people ask, well, why? Well, they're not in custody yet, and they think, maybe there's that chance I'm going to be able to evade officers and get away with this. At times, if they do have a cell phone, then they start to get panicked. They may reach out to a friend or a family member. There are times where they do try to head back into neighborhoods they're familiar with and try to evade police there. But this guy, unclear on where he's going, because he was coming westbound on the 10 out of the Inland Empire through Pomona. Then he made his way north on the 57, and then west on the 210 Foothill Freeway, and now south on the 605. So it doesn't appear, at least right now, he does have that destination. But it'll be interesting to see if he goes back east on the 60, because that will take him back to the location where the incident was or where he was first lit up. South 605 does look heavy as you leave the 60, so we'll see what he does here in the carpool lane. And again, unclear if that will be a violation for him as well. And I say that because any violation he makes, he will be written up for. Speeding, reckless driving, obviously trying to evade officers here in the community of El Monte. 605 south here, getting close to the 60 freeway, staying in the carpool lane. He slowed down a bit on the scanner. We heard he was traveling at 80, 90 miles an hour on portions of the 10 and the 210 freeway. Going about 75 now, it looks like. Staying in the carpool lane, the lighter volume lane here on the southbound 605 freeway, the San Gabriel freeway. And here comes the interchange with the 60, and he will not make that transition to either the east or westbound 60 freeway. He's going to stay the course here, continue south on the 605, which will take him into the communities of Whittier, Pico Rivera. He will connect with the 5 freeway, eventually the 105 freeway, and we'll see what he does. A lot of patrol cars tracking him still. They've backed off a little bit. We'll widen out and we'll see what the situation is here. And you can see it's not really trailing that closely here on the southbound side of the 605 freeway here. Looking up ahead, the volume is still relatively light, and we are watching LA County Sheriff's helicopter circle overhead as well.
Hey, Rick, joining us right now in our coverage is Michael Sayer, former LAPD, a guy who knows all about this stuff. Hello, Michael. I think we're getting a little phone sound here.
We're disconnected.
Let's go back to Rick Dicker and Sky Fox. Rick, what's the speed right now?
He's going about 70, 75 miles an hour. He's backed it off a little bit, but now he's got a little bit more of an open freeway. You can see the volume's pretty light at this point, but a bit south of here, it does load up as the 605 approaches that 5 freeway. That's a very busy interchange there where those two freeways meet. Coming up towards the Rose Hills area, that's going to be on the east side of the 605 freeway. This parallels the stretch of the 605. The San Gabriel freeway parallels the San Gabriel River here, coming out of the San Gabriel Valley down towards the coastal plain of LA County here. And again, off to the left of the freeway after Rose Hills, we'll have Whittier, Pico Rivera, and then the 5 freeway. Now he's in the far right lane, so let's see what he does, if he has any plans to try to exit the freeway, if he's looking at some of those off-ramps here. But it does appear that a lot of the patrol cars did back off somewhat, and sometimes they do that because the driver is driving so erratically here. And in this case, he is off to the right shoulder. That is not a lane that he's driving in. He's picking up speed in that silver SUV here. Let's see what he does. Wow, he's off the side of the lanes here, and we'll see if he tries to just get up ahead of these big rigs, and perhaps he's looking in his rearview mirror and he feels that he's been able to evade officers here, deputies from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Now back in the far right lane here on the southbound 605 freeway in Whittier. You're going to have Whittier Boulevard, Beverly, heading down south here into the Cerritos area. And with each mile or so, looking up ahead to the south, it does look like the volume does start to pick up. He's going to have a little bit more in the way of traffic to maneuver around. They are watching from above as well. There is an LA County Sheriff's helicopter keeping track of this suspect again. And if you are just tuning in, this is a burglary suspect. We don't really have the details on when that incident occurred. All we know is that this is a suspect in that burglary, and when officers and deputies try to light he or she up, we don't know that yet even, that they did not pull over and the pursuit was on. Starting in Pomona, 10 westbound. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Rick, I mentioned Michael Sayer. I think he is joining us right now from LAPD. And Michael, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, we got you. Give us what you're perceiving in this thing right now.
Well, because of his erratic driving and disregard for public safety and such, the officers do back off to try to give that perception that he's lost them, like the gentleman in the air unit was talking about. When he looks in his rearview mirror, he doesn't see a bunch of lights and things like that. And that usually causes a suspect to slow down because he thinks they've lost him. But it also makes it tactically harder for the officers, because then when he does get off the freeway into traffic or stops, they've got to get up to him that much quicker. So they try to parallel him. They on side streets. They try to keep up with him on the freeway. And then, of course, the air unit is a valuable tool.
Right. He seems to be exiting. Rick, pick it up right now. Where's he going?
Yeah, he's exiting the southbound 605. Almost lost control there. Again, that's a high-ended SUV there, so took that off-ramp a little tight there. We'll get you the off-ramp here. This is in Whittier. And there it is. There's the, looks like it could be a CHP unit trailing the SUV here. Again, the burglary suspect, and we'll see. Now that it's on surface streets, it gets, even more dangerous in that more foot traffic, pedestrians. Looks like in a residential area here in Whittier, and it looks like it is a dead end, off-roading here. This is right up against the San Gabriel River, across tracks in the dirt. Really don't think he knew where he was going there. Obviously, there's a sheriff's helicopter circling overhead. They're going to keep an eye on him, and CHP sheriff's deputies will try to track him in this dirt field here adjacent to the tracks right off of the San Gabriel River here. This is adjacent to the 605, and he is traveling northbound on the westbound side of the 605 freeway. Off-roading here. We're going to try to get a better shot of this burglary suspect, this SUV. We're watching for air traffic up here as well. It's very busy here. We'll see exactly what he does, if he really has any options. He obviously didn't know where he was going at that time, but looking up ahead, there's just a dirt area. I can see a good shot here from up here in Skyfox. Very similar to what you're seeing here for a couple miles north. This railway here in a residential area bordering Pico Rivera and Whittier here. Off-roading here in this dirt area, but the LA County Sheriff's helicopter hovering just 300 or 400 feet above this suspect here. It doesn't look like
rough terrain there.
He's going to hurt anybody, but yeah, it really is rough terrain here, and he's going to stay the course here off-roading in this dirt area. And unclear if that's a four-wheel drive. It might. If it is, that might help this suspect here. We don't know if anybody has been hurt in this incident. We don't think so. We don't think that there were any serious traffic collisions when this pursuit first started, and we believe it started just after the noon hour out in the Inland Empire here. Now, northbound in this dirt area adjacent to the tracks, just to the west of the 605 freeway here up against the riverbed.
Hey, Rick, are the patrol cars following this guy on this path?
Well, widen out. We'll see if there are any. At this point, we are not seeing anybody. Who is following him, though, right above him is an LA County Sheriff's helicopter. So this guy will not be able to go anywhere, really. And the patrol cars that you may not see are staging in these residential areas. So, all right, it looks like he's slowing down now. This is the San Gabriel River right off of the 605 where these tracks parallel here. And it looks like really rough terrain there. And I think he's out of it. I think he's hit an area. Now he's going to try to bail. We'll see what happens. He's got a hat on. He's going to try to jump over the chain link fence and go for a run here. Yeah, wearing dark-colored clothing. There is a sheriff's helicopter watching his every move. We are as well up here in Skyfox HD, running northbound now. And he's in the community just to the east of the 605, Pico Rivera, right on the border of Whittier here. And I'm looking now, I can see, just looking outside of Skyfox, if we pedal right, please, we can see there are some CHP units. Again, that sheriff's deputy, that helicopter is directing these officers in patrol cars exactly where the suspect is so that they can catch up to him along the San Gabriel River. He really ran out of an area that was drivable. Now he's in the riverbed here.
Did he
and
run in the
into
sewer?
the tunnel there. And again, the sheriff's deputy saw that. So he's in this tunnel now, and I see some deputies, perhaps some officers from the California Highway Patrol here staging in the area as well. So they know he's in there. They know he went in there, and now they're going to have to determine how they're going to get at him in that tunnel. Yeah,
Michael Sayer, former LAPD. This is an odd situation, isn't it?
Well, it is. Now, I would have to back up a little bit. I think this guy knows this area a lot more than you're giving him credit for, because all his moves have been deliberate. So he knew exactly where that tunnel was. He knew that, he never slowed down when he went on the dirt. So this guy has very familiar with this area. Now, this is a perfect situation for the canines. The canines can go into the tunnel there much easier than the officers can, and it's much safer to send the canines in there after them. What they have to do is they have to find out if this tunnel here, if the riverbed, if it forks off, if it has any other joining tunnels to it, and where it comes out. And that's where they have to stage and tactically prepare for this guy to come out or take another route if there's a branch that's in there that goes in another direction.
So we assume they are on the phone with authorities who are familiar with the layout here, looking at blueprints?
Yeah, there's, the DWP, they have access to these things. A lot of the rangers, like park rangers and stuff, they understand where these corridors go and these tunnels go sometimes. So, yeah, you're pulling in a lot of resources. You got people on the phone. You got people on the radio that are trying to contact this. And you're just trying to keep them boxed in for right now before you make any tactical plans.
One of the issues is always raised is that once somebody is cornered, people watching coverage think, why don't they do something immediately? But at that point, there is no rush, is there?
No, there is no rush, and you have to take in the safety of the officers. You don't know whether this guy is armed or not. He was a burglar, and it's a daytime burglary, so the likelihood of him being armed isn't high. But you still don't know whether he's armed. You don't know if that was his car, whether they were able to run the plates, get information on the suspect. And you don't want to just rush into things when you can corner this guy and have officers hurt. You don't want the suspect to get hurt, and you don't want bystanders or people around them to get hurt.
Rick, you seeing anything at all?
Yeah, I want to show you a couple things. We're going to pan a little bit to the left. By the way, this is adjacent to the Pico State Historical House, one of the first governors of California. So this is an area that a lot of people know about here along the San Gabriel River and the 605. And there's the suspect's car. We'll widen out. We could show that there are a number of units now behind that car and then on the major east-west street here as well, Whittier Boulevard. You can see them staging. We'll continue to pan right. And they're all staging there on Whittier Boulevard here. So this is right on the border of Whittier and Pico Rivera in the San Gabriel River bed. He went into it. We saw him jump down. And I'll tell you what, if this guy knew what he was doing, he's a smart burglar in that he went off-road. He went all the way up the riverbed. He ran out of space, and then he hopped into the tunnel. I've never seen anything like that before. Pretty amazing stuff, though.
Makes you wonder if he knows his tunnel, if he's ever been in it before, what he knows what it's like and where it goes.
Or he just got lucky, and he goes, "Oop, there's a tunnel. Maybe I can hide out there." Well, they saw them go. They saw the man go in there. Obviously, only one suspect, a male here. They've already cleared the car. No other suspects. A burglary suspect. You saw him when he was running, all dressed in black with his hat on. And now there are officers swarming this area. They're going to have to determine how they're going to get at him. Obviously, the first thing they will try to do is call him out of there. I've seen situations before where there have been suspects sort of hiding out in similar situations like this, and then it turns into a standoff. They don't know if he's armed. He won't come out, and then it turns into a negotiation. And here you can see it looks like those are California Highway Patrol officers there searching the area. But the sheriff's helicopter did see him go into that tunnel, that culvert adjacent to the San Gabriel River here near the Pico House off the 605 freeway on the west side of the 605. So they're still looking for him. He's still at large as of right now.
All right, what we're going to do is, as we keep watching this scene, is this may go on interminably, may end very quickly. We're going to depart this in a little while. Come back if something's happening, and certainly, Tony, you're on the 5 o'clock today.
Sure, we'll have a wrap-up of how this all concluded, but right now it's just a standoff situation, and as you said, that can go on interminably.
And
hey guys,
yes,
I stand corrected. The sheriff's helicopter just asked us, did you guys for sure see him go inside that tunnel? And we certainly did. So we gave them a little bit of intel here that we thought that they had. So now they're going to go address that situation. They're going to look into that tunnel and try to get this guy out of there.